Madam Marble MM. Flip it around. Wicked Witch.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. So today we have a very special build. We are building two houses. So it's going to be a long one. Grab a snack, grab a drink, I don't know, whatever you prefer, and let's jump in. So today we are building wicked houses. And by that I mean we are building a house for elphaba and a house for Glinda. So I decided I wanted to build these houses huge. I don't know why, like it was so much time and effort. It was literally 8 hours worth of footage. It was fucking insane. So I sped it up originally by like 500%, which is what I usually do. And it was still like an hour and a half. So I decided, you know what, we are going to speed it up even more. So now it's like 1,000% or something crazy like that. But you'll see here, we have the shapes of the houses. So on the left, we have elphaba. On the right, we have Glinda. And in the middle, we have a yellow brick road. So something that I wanted to really do was tie in nods to the movies as much as I possibly could. So obviously like the girl in the bubble and, you know, elphaba's powers and everything like that. So I really tried to play into that as much as I possibly could with what I had to work with in The Sims. That's what we are doing. At the end of the road, there is a little nod to the Emerald City as well, so we do have that. I had probably the most fun doing this build that I've ever had doing a build ever. Something that I really enjoyed was just like playing into their personalities a lot, so, you know, anything that I can really get from it that, you know, fed into their personalities as much as I possibly could. I'm also wearing my brand new Wicked t-shirt. I'm in my Wicked era again. I don't think I've ever left in the last year, so we're still here, okay? I'm still stuck at the restaurant. Right now we are working on the outside of the builds. So I'm really working on elphaba's, and I tried to give it more of like a castle shape. I used a lot of this like dark green, a little bit of dark brick as well, and I felt like it really just fit her personality. So everything is very green on her side, obviously, and then on the right we have Glinda, and you know, I tried to use as much glass as possible as well. I don't know, it just really felt like it fit their personalities. And I really wanted to play into that as much as I possibly could. So I did go see Wicked for good, and when I tell you I sobbed to this movie, I was sobbing at the end of it. It was so amazing, and just their vocal performances for each of them, like it was just insane. And Ariana's acting in For Good was so beyond incredible. One thing I do have to say is, you know, they had an extra like hour and 40 minutes and they still couldn't fix the pacing of the second half of this show. I think it's just too much is going on, you know. It not that it needed to be 3 parts. I think they you know, they did what needed to be done. But I think just the pacing of this show is still so insane. And, you know, there's a lot that they could be working on and could have fixed, but they didn't. Something else I want to show you guys is I did get the cup, the Glinda cup, and I love the little, this is like the topper on top of it. I wish there was a way to like take this bottom part out and like put a light into it so she kind of shines. So I'm definitely going to be figuring that out and trying to work on that because I love this thing. I think it's so cute. So obviously I had to get that. And then my boyfriend got the elphaba cup. He still hasn't opened her, but honestly I'm going to open it now. You know, why not? He's sitting downstairs. That definitely was crinkling so loud. He's sitting downstairs. He asked if he could sit on my bed, but I was like, you can see my bed from my video. So sorry. I'm so sorry, Matthew. You are sitting downstairs. The elphaba is so good. The elphaba is so good. I kind of wish I got it. It's fine. But now you'll see we are working on the outside shape of Glinda's house, and I tried to make them look a little bit more whimsical, but in different ways. So I tried to make elphaba's a little bit more like castle look, whereas Glinda's I wanted like funky shapes, more of like the Enchanted by Nature aesthetic. Whereas, you know, elphaba was more of the castle estate kit, you know? But yeah, I made these houses so big. Even though they're only 1 bedroom, they're huge on the inside. So I don't really know what I was thinking when I built them. But for Glinda's, we have sort of like the girl in the bubble sort of thing going on the side over here. So I built fully glass walls, fully glass roof. I am obsessed with it. I think it came out so perfect to the point where I was like, wait, I could actually see them living here. And you know what? I stand by it because I actually made them in The Sims as well. So you can download them all now on my gallery using the EAID Robbie Play Sims. So the lot and both Sims are now available to download. So go do that. I also just want to talk about real quick, like my favorite songs. So I am an Act 1 song lover. Always have been, always will be. But a lot of the songs in the second act are probably some of my favorites, like No Good Deed, For Good, Thank Goodness. These songs are so good. And the two songs that they added, No Place Like Home and The Girl in the Bubble, are good. I don't necessarily think that they were like the most stellar songs. I think honestly it's going to be one of those things that it just like takes time to grow also, because we've obviously had 20 plus years to love these songs, and like I've personally grown up with these songs, so I know them like the back of my hand, whereas the two new ones I'm just learning for the first time. So it's definitely going to take some time to get used to and learn, but we will grow and we will learn to love them, I'm sure. They're not bad. They're just not as loved, I think, in my eyes, as as much as the old songs. So you'll see now I'm doing a bunch of landscaping for elphaba, and I put in a lot of like the animal topiaries, because obviously a lot of the theme of the movie is she's trying to help the animals, and she's trying to defame the wizard, because he is this all power being that actually has no power. So a lot of my thing about this build was making sure people knew that, and that it translated over into The Sims. So you'll definitely see in like little bits of my builds that elphaba has all the power and Glinda does not. So, and the wizard is just non-existent here. There is a big statue, but he's like covered in cobwebs and cracks, because I was like, you know what, he doesn't belong here. Okay, the wizard does not exist in my universe, in my world that I'm living in. I really tried to make elphabas look really overgrown, really natural, because that's just she's living in the woods for most of For Good. So, and by the end of it, she's not even living there. So I definitely tried my best to bring that to life, but this was like one of the most insane builds I think I've ever done. It was a lot of fucking work. And I love it. I'm glad I did it. It was truly so therapeutic, to build it in The Sims and bring these characters to life in a new way. Speaking of bringing characters to new life in a new way, SpongeBob. We are getting a SpongeBob collaboration. What the hell is going on there? I am excited because I love SpongeBob. I'm just worried about the era that we're entering for The Sims. So I don't know. We'll have to see where we're headed with it, but I'm excited and I love SpongeBob. So to be able to build Bikini Bottom in my build is something super exciting, and I'm really excited about it. So I don't care. That's my 2 cents on it. I'm ready for it and I'm there for it. So we'll see what happens. And it looks like it's going to be like a 2-kit bundle where you get extra stuff. So I don't know why it wasn't just made a stuff pack in that way. I think because it probably doesn't add like a new gameplay feature, but they could have. So I don't really know what is going on there with that. I don't really know why it's being, released as 2 kits with 3 extra items if you buy them before a certain date. It's really confusing. So I don't really know what the hell's going on there, but there's much to be said about, the state of The Sims right now, but it's kind of giving the wizard you know, the wizard lies. So I don't know. I am choosing to continue playing because it does bring me a lot of joy and has for well over a decade and a half of my life. So, you know, I also do feel really bad. I kind of pushed my boyfriend downstairs. But he's fine. He has his iPad, he has the TV. He is chilling in my living room. He's living his best life. He's fine. But I also told my roommates, I was like, guys, turn your TVs up, okay? I don't want you to hear me. This is like low-key embarrassing. I'm just like sitting here talking to nothing for 35 minutes. I sound schizophrenic sometimes, I feel like, when I talk like this. So, you know, I kind of am. I'm just talking to no one. So, hey y'all, what's up? But yeah, so now we are kind of moving upstairs. So right now I'm working on Glinda's bedroom situation. And in the upstairs, I did give her a cauldron, but she is not a spellcaster. So I basically put, you know, in pools, you can put those little grates and they produce bubbles. I thought it was originally just for pools. It's not. So it does produce steam. So her house is like steamy and kind of casts this like weird fog going on around her. But it's all special effects. That's the Glinda we know and love. Which at the end, I like don't want to give spoilers, but at this point, like you should go see it. And if you haven't seen it yet, go see it before you watch this video. But you know, at the end, she kind of does get powers, I think, because she can, you know, see the Grimoire and it opens for her. So I don't really know what's going on there. I think it was up for interpretation, and my interpretation is that she does have powers. But in most of the movie, in most of both movies, she does not have any powers. So that's kind of what I went with here for this story for my Sims. And yeah, so I put the bubbles underneath a lot of different things. So it's kind of just like visual effects, it's special effects. And under the cauldron, bubbles are coming out of it. And she can't use it because she's not a spellcaster. So what you gonna do? Try to use these visual effects, you know, that she does in the movie to make it look realistic and real. So yeah, I keep going back and forth between the builds. I don't know why I constantly do that. Like when I do like a 2-part build like this, I really have probably the worst ADHD ever where it's like I cannot focus for the life of me. I cannot sit still. So I'm constantly going back and forth. And that's what I've been doing. So you know what? Take it for what it is. Sorry, I need a Diet Coke break. I'm about to be the girl in the bubble because I'm about to be burping. But it's okay. When I tell you I spent way too much time cluttering this build, I had to cut out a lot of it. I cut out most of the cluttering because there's so much. I sifted through every single item in this game. I'm not joking. Like, I don't think I've been this locked in on a build in forever. I couldn't tell you the last time I've locked in like this. You know, there's been so much happening recently in my life that like I just like really haven't had time to sit down and play, and it's felt so good to be able to do it and, you know, get back into the game. So I'm really happy with how they turned out because they are full. They are full of clutter and very much to each of their own aesthetics, which I'm really happy about because surprisingly, there's like a lot in this game that has to do with, you know, their personalities. It's really weird. I wasn't expecting it, honestly, but, you know, even down to the landscaping, like you'll see the trees I used are kind of like the bubble trees. I wish they came in pink, but they don't. They're only in green, so that's okay. But a lot of stuff did come in pink. So there's different shades of pink being used, but I also felt like that was okay because what am I going to do? I'm not going to sit here and make it like one-dimensional, you know? So a lot of it is kind of, you know, balancing. I try not to use as much hot pink as I could, only because Glinda doesn't read as a hot pink girl. She's very muted tones and, you know, light pinks, pastels, if you will. So I tried to use most of that where it was possible. It's 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, full living space downstairs, and upstairs there's a dressing room. So she has her own little, getting ready room, massage parlor type situation, and like a little party deck upstairs where she can host her gatherings for all of Oz. I also gave her a grimoire book. It's actually from vampires, which is really weird. You would think it'd be spellcasters, but it's not. So I gave her one as well because at the end of the movie, obviously she gets it. But I think now I kind of want to talk about, my favorite songs, right? Because there's a lot. I would say from part 2, and yes, I am looking at the track list right now. And yes, I was listening to it right before this. I would say in no particular order, but definitely up at the top is No Good Deed. That song does it for me every single time. It is so perfect, no notes. And right after that, I would probably say As Long As You're Mine. Oh my god, it's so good. I just love the drums in it. I think it really ramps up at the right places. And then right after that, I would say For Good. Those are kind of interchangeable for me, though. I feel like they kind of go back and forth. And then right after that, I would say is Thank Goodness. And then low key, The Girl in the Bubble. I think that was the better one out of the new songs that were in the new movie. I think No Place Like Home is really good, but I think The Girl in the Bubble was just like a notch better. So I would say definitely those. And then, The Wicked Witch of the East. I gotta give Marissa Bode and Ethan Slater their flowers for that because that was stellar. Ethan Slater's performance in For Good was so insane. I need that man cast in everything from here on out, okay? I don't want to hear any Ethan slander because he was so fucking amazing in this. That look back that he gave to Glinda in, the March of the Witch Hunters. Guys, I had full body chills. I was quaking. I was shaking in my boots. And I am obsessed. I was obsessed. And honestly, the entire performance, just give everyone their flowers, okay? This was Ariana's Oscar moment. I firmly believe that. Cynthia as well. She slayed the house down. Honestly, probably not like the right topic to be using that in. But here we are, sorry to, the Wicked Witch of the East. She was slain by a house with a young girl. I also want to say I'm very happy with them not showing her face. I genuinely think it just like keeping that mystery alive was the right choice here. The only thing I will say that I didn't love was the way they portrayed Dorothy at the end, like when she threw the water on elphaba and, she thinks she killed her. She's like holding her broom up like, yes, I did it. I finally did it. I slayed the Wicked Witch. And, I don't know. That to me isn't really how the original Wizard of Oz read. So that was the only thing that, I wasn't the happiest about. I think that was really the only way they could have shown it though, by keeping her faceless. Like, what are you going to do? Just like show her grabbing it? Like, I guess you could have showed her grabbing it and running. I'm not sure. I'm not a filmmaker, so I was not the director. I'm not John M. Chu, so I don't have the power of, telling that story and doing that. So who am I? Who am I to judge? But I always have opinions. I'm very opinionated and I stand by that. So sorry. There was something I was going to say and I low-key forget. So I don't really know what to do about that. I guess we're going to have to move on.
Madam Horrible MM. Flip it around, Wicked Witch.
Getting back to, the actual game here for a minute. I had so much fun landscaping this build. There was actually like a good amount, I think going into it with such distinct personalities is what really helped here. So I think, I'm going to try doing that a little bit more just because I found it so easy, especially Glinda. It was really easy to navigate and, landscape her side, her house. elphaba as well. You know, I felt like, you know, since they have such polarizing, distinct aesthetics, that I think it made it easier, you know, to landscape and go into it with, you know, such a mindset. Now you'll see I am working on the Emerald City. It's literally just a building. Like, there's nothing in it except for some monkeys and this giant statue that I am claiming to be the wizard. Honestly, it's kind of fitting though, because it's gold and it matches like perfectly with the green. So I definitely am happy that I added that in. That was sort of like a last minute touch. Like, I was not planning on doing that, but here we are. So I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I added it in. For the most part, Glinda's side is done. So upstairs, you know, there's a mannequin for her to get dressed and a massage table, a manicure table, or a manicure chair so she can get manicures and pedicures from spa day. Elphaba's side was leaning more towards, you know, animals. So, you know, there's a chicken coop. There is a cauldron outside for her to practice spells, and another one inside. There's like a whole little hidden gem in her house. So I'm really excited about that too. Now I'm just doing finishing touches on Glinda. So I wanted to do something that felt sort of grand there. And you know, I definitely cut a lot out. So I'll show you guys in the tour what I'm really talking about. But yeah, moving on to a little bit more of Elphaba's side. So I ended up actually changing these floors because it felt a little bit more blue hued than green. So I wanted to make sure that I was like staying true to what I was doing here and what I was here for. So downstairs is super open, super wide open. There's, you know, a lot of seating, but her side feels a little bit more natural, a little bit more eclectic. There's a greenhouse in there for her to take care of plants and use. Maybe you want to plant some herbs, you know, for using for spell casting. You never know what, you know, you'll be needing and what you'll be doing as a spellcaster. So I definitely wanted to add a lot of that in there. A lot of gold touches. You know, she has a crow. Like I said, so now you'll see the switch. There's a lot that just happened. A quick jump cut. I used, you know, natural green kitchen from Enchanted by Nature. There's this giant round table, the butterfly conservatory from Adventure Awaits, and, you know, a bunch of indoor plants from not only base game, but also from Enchanted by Nature. So, you know, the houseplant feature is utilized in here as well. I love how it ended up feeling very natural and sort of like overgrown in this space right here. I used a lot of that ivy from Enchanted by Nature as well. So definitely put myself to work with the clutter in here. It was just like a lot. Like, I was honestly doing a lot. So, you know, sorry to whoever downloads this build. And like, if you have only like 3 packs, you're kind of fucked. I did not limit any pack usage in here. It is flowing with kits, expansion packs. Like, I'm so sorry. I don't really know what to say about it. You know, my boyfriend was like, "Can I download it?" I was like, yeah, if you want like a half-built house, you kind of need to own everything in order to download this. And for that, I am truly, truly sorry. But maybe it'll inspire you to do your own wicked houses and maybe make them a bit smaller. That is definitely something I need to like start working on, is, you know, maybe like downsize a little bit. Not everything needs to be the biggest thing in the world. So that is something that I'm looking into next year for some growth. You know, we'll see what happens, but I can't believe we're like in the last month of the year. Like, where the fuck did time go? I have no idea. Also, something that will be coming up on the channel, which definitely will be doing a SpongeBob theme build. Thank you very much with the new kits. I don't care. I'm excited about it, and I can't wait to live in a pineapple under the sea because I am SpongeBob SquarePants. I live and breathe SpongeBob memes, okay? I am constantly using it, using his lingo. You know, something that me and my friends actually quote literally nonstop is, "I lost something once."
Oh no, I lost my pen. You can borrow mine.
Thanks.
I lost something once.
And I will never stop using it. I will never stop saying it. So this collab like literally came out of nowhere, but also thank God, because I can't wait. So definitely, you know, some SpongeBob builds, but something that I found, a long lost adventure awaits home. I was sitting there and I was like, I like know I did more with Adventure Awaits than I'm leading on. And I built an entire house around it. So where is it? I don't know. But I did find it. So that video will be coming soon as well. Something also that I think I want to do in the new year is a collab. Not with a Sims creator. No, my boyfriend. So he loves playing The Sims, and I'm really excited because he wants to do it, and I'm here for it. So we're gonna work it out a little bit, but he's sitting downstairs and very sad that I kicked him out of my room. So I'm sorry. Yeah, now let's get back to the build a little bit. Sorry, you know, we know I go on my tangents. I'm also like starving, so I'm like ready to eat. So let's get this going. We just saw, you know, elphaba's sort of like spell room, I'm gonna call it, I guess. Like sort of like just like a room that has like a seance table in it, which like is super not what elphaba's about, but you know, I wanted it to kind of look like she had an orb, she had something going on. And there is another cauldron in there as well for her. And now we are working on the bathroom, and you know, final touches. I put posters in there of her parents because, you know, as much as they wronged her in her life, you know, her mom did pass when, you know, she was giving birth to her younger sister, and that is some trauma there, babe. And her dad did pass. That she also did not know, actually, that the wizard was her father. So that was some crazy lore there. That was something too that I felt was like a little rushed in the movie. I felt like they could have elongated that scene a bit more and like actually shown, you know, a bit more of his reaction. I felt like Jeff Goldblum did such an amazing job with what he was given with the material, the source material, but I think we could have, you know, expanded upon it a bit more. Now we're just doing some final touches on the outside of her build. Like I said, so much clutter. So much clutter. I actually used a lot of the new garden to table kit out here, which I'm obsessed. I cannot stop using that kit enough. Like, let's talk about it because it's so good. I don't know, what do you say? I think it's time I take you guys on a quick little tour of the builds. So this is my version of the yellow brick road, and on this yellow brick road you'll see some friendly faces. I worked with what I had. There's no lions in this game, but I sized up a giant toy that was wearing a blue plaid dress, and there's a house with some red heels under it as well. Gasp. Over here now we have Elphaba's house. So I put these magic orbs everywhere. There's, you know, a bunch of different things in like a front little garden, and this is our entryway now. So we have a crow and, you know, a living couch space over there, and then another living room right here, and this is our green room. This is where she grows all of her plants, and we are then led into a dining room, which then kind of leads into the kitchen as well. It's a huge kitchen, and that then leads to the outdoor space. So we take this little door out here and we are met with the garden to table kit. So this is where, you know, there's a grill out here and a dining table and some natural stone pathing over here that leads to a outdoor cauldron. So, and a little chicken coop also in the back corner, which, you know, we're just gonna breathe past real quick. So then you are met with upstairs another little seating area because there was just like a lot going on up here. And over here we have the bathroom. So, you know, big standing shower, tub, toilet, sink, everything that you need. Shower, shit, shave. And then we have a giant bedroom that just feels so natural, and you know, there's a dog bed in there or a cat bed, whatever you prefer. A lot of Enchanted by Nature usage as well. And then this is sort of like her spell room. So, you know, this is where she practices the grimoire, and there's a little secret bookcase that leads to another cauldron as well. Some brooms hung up, and then potions and, you know, orbs and everything like that hanging up in there. And that is Glinda's entire side. So then in the middle here, we kind of have like the Emerald City. There's some monkeys in there, and we have the giant statue that is covered in cracks and cobwebs. Like, get this wizard out of here. And over here, you will see we have Glinda's side. So, you know, bubbles everywhere. And when you're in live mode, you'll see there's like a lot of like smoke also. And I placed butterflies everywhere, also on Elphaba's side. So on Glinda's is a lot of like iridescent blue. And on Elphaba's is a lot of like the natural brown butterflies. So when you first walk in, you have Glinda's entryway. And bubbles everywhere, bubbles galore. So I used the bubble wall from, I believe it is Dine Out, and kind of used it as like a wall. And then right here we have the dining room and a giant kitchen. There's not a lot of really good pink kitchens, but I wanted something grand, so I used the one from Life and Death. And then there's a piano over here and a bar, and there's bubbles coming out of it, butterflies flying everywhere. Like, Glinda's house just feels so, what's the word? Shiny. And then over here, I did a giant circle living room with glass walls. And then out this way, we have a back patio with, you know, a little grill. And then there's a wishing well, because she can't actually do magic. So she has to wish for everything. And, you know, bubbles everywhere from the grates from the pools. And then you walk upstairs, same situation. So I put a grate under there. So there's smoke everywhere. It's all smoke and mirrors. And that's actually a really good thing I just said. I love that I said that. And then over out of the hallway, we are now in the bathroom, giant bathroom. Come back out, and we have Glinda's bedroom. Glinda's bedroom is huge, okay? It's huge, girl, and there's a lot of wellness going on. So, you know, she practices her wellness and trying to take care of herself because, you know, she's the face of Oz now that the wizard is gone. And then we have the giant get ready with me room, a mannequin and everything. And then out here we have the bubble blower, obviously. And it's sort of like a party deck. I hope that you guys like this build, and if you did, you can download it on the gallery using my EA ID, Robbie Plays Sims. So yeah, thank you for stepping into Oz with me. Here we are. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below, and I will see you all next time.